Good morning, Spreaker and Internet World. This is the morning tip-off for November 13th, 2015. I'm your host, Danny Thompson, and it's a little late this morning. Rough start in my household, and it's Friday the 13th. So, hey, it happens. Life happens. But last night was a short night in the NBA, and for some teams, Friday the 13th came early. For some, 3 games on the schedule last night, but there were a lot of names last night missing and players hurt and players not available. So we're going to go over the next 30, 45 minutes over tonight's games, last night's games, and take a look to the weekend. Jay Waddell should be calling in, talking fantasy. Also, Taylor Richardson from Space Age Scoop and Raptors Republic will give us her thoughts on the games this weekend. And also your thoughts. 407-378-3717. Like I said, start at the top of the show. Last night, the NBA had 3 games, but had 5 guys off key teams missing in action. In Miami, the Miami Heat take care of the Utah Jazz 92-91 last night. In this game, no Dwayne Wade for Miami. His son was Zion, was rushed to the hospital before the game. Good news is he's going to be okay. And, it was a last minute thing. Something couldn't realize or happen until it actually happens. So Miami's without Wade. And then Utah is without Rudy Gobert, who has sprained ankle. So the Jazz's big presence in the middle and also the matchup with the Whiteside, we didn't get. But what we did get was an exciting game. And Chris Bosh scored 25 points last night, but the real star of the game was Tyler Johnson. Johnson, before the weekend started, was a third, fourth guard for Miami. Miami trades Chalmers. Wade goes out last night. Now, Richardson got the start last night for Miami, but Tyler Johnson came off the bench. 17 points last night, including 2 huge buckets in the final 148 to give the Heat the victory last night. And without Wade, Dragic, he had 14 points last night. Whiteside was very good defensively, but really, Bosh and Johnson really did most of the damage. Miami's third straight winner at home, and the Heat are starting to build momentum. And Wade should be back for the next game on Tuesday. That's a good sign because they don't play again until Tuesday against Minnesota. But the Heat held on, and Utah, we talked about this yesterday, needs some good help from their guys. Burke, 24 points. Hayward, 24 and 11. Derek Favors starting at center last night, 25, 12, and 7 blocks last night. 7 blocks. But the big stat, besides Johnson having 17 points, was the fact that the Heat shot 47% at the rim. Now, going into the game, Utah was one of the top teams in the NBA, around 37, 38% when it comes to shots at the rim. Now, what kind of difference does it make? Because Gobert is in the paint, and when Gobert is in the paint, he adjusts shots, he alters shots. He also does different things around the rim to make sure that guys don't score. And so, Favors, even though he had 7 blocks last night, really, the Heat were able to get to the basket, draw fouls, and most importantly, hit shots. So, the Heat, 92-91 over the Jazz. Got to give credit to the Heat. Like I said, no Gerald Green because of the suspension due to the off-court incident. No Wade. Also, when you don't have to have your main guys, it's good to have other guys step up. And I think going forward, Tyler Johnson could be a guy to watch. Now, we talk about Justice Winslow. We talk about Gerald Green. We talk about the depth of the Heat bench. Tyler Johnson could be that guy to help facilitate the backcourt role. He's going to take over Chalmers' spot. This is in Memphis. I don't know about Peter Udrih. Udrih did play last night, but I don't think Udrih is a guy going forward. You'll see a lot of Tyler Johnson, that 6, 7-man role. And can you imagine him going with Winslow and Gerald Green off the bench? And now Riley and the team has confidence in this kid. And so if that's the case, this guy, there's nothing but the sky is limited. And it could be another guy that Riley finds someplace, resurrects him, and guess what? He becomes a star. Just like Chris Birdman. Anderson, when he was out of the league, he was good in Denver, went away for a while, comes back, plays a huge role in the Heat during those championship years, and solidify his career. Kyle Johnson didn't have all the same things that Birdman went through, but this guy could be lightning in the bottle. So, Heat fans, basically, Johnson came out thunder last night. So, two other games on the schedule. The most entertaining game of the night was in Minnesota. We talked about this yesterday. This game was going to be an up and down affair, and I told you a few things about this game. I said, one, this game will be over 100 points easily with no problem. Two, Stephen Curry has a vendetta against anything involved with the Minnesota Wolves. Basically, the T Wolves passed on him not once, but twice in the draft. And, he sees Ricky Rubio in the other end. It's going to be a long night. Well, in the case of Minnesota, they didn't have Rubio last night, but they caught the wrath of Steph Curry. Curry last night, 46 points. Yeah, 46 points. 21 in the first quarter. Most importantly, the Warriors are now 10-0. But some funny stats about this game, which actually good stats to hear. Curry, this is his fourth game with 20 points in one quarter in the first 10. Russell Westbrook led the league this year with four of those in a full season. Curry's done that, and we're not even midway through November. Curry 46, 15 and 25 from the floor, 8 of 13 from the 3-point line. This guy doesn't miss. He was in fuego the whole night. And Draymond Green, 23 points, 8 rebounds, 12 assists. He was everywhere on the court, making passes. And look, the Warriors score 129 points, and they have a back-to-back coming up. And the Wolves are tired, but you gotta give Minnesota a lot of credit. These young kids can play. Andrew Wiggins, 19 points, 5 assists. Karl-Anthony Towns, 17-11. But the biggest stat this whole game, besides the fact of Curry just playing a video game out there, was the Warriors 18 of 38 from the 3-point line. The Pups 3 for 9. So the Wolves hit 15 less threes than the Warriors, and that's what happens. You have a team who can rub it down the court, and really Draymond Green was pushing the tempo, and those guys were just getting open looks all night. And Curry, when he's knocking them down, he's just knocking them down. So Indiana will play the Wolves on Friday, and then the Warriors play Brooklyn on Saturday at home. They should be able to go to 11-0. Very simple. They have a night off. The Wolves are a team that's exhausted. Tonight, there'll be another game, and that'll be their fifth game. I'm sorry, this weekend will be 5 games in 7 days, and then they have a back-to-back on Tuesday and Wednesday in Miami and Orlando. This team is getting their legs under them very early, and I wonder, especially with Wiggins' knee problems, I mean, they say it's not that significant, but he's having issues with the knees. Can Wiggins take some time off? Maybe take a game off. We might not see him tonight in Indiana, but the Wolves are finding some kind of way to figure this all out. But Minnesota is 4-4. They're at a number where a lot of people didn't expect them this early. And like I said, they're young, they're exciting, and they'll be pretty good going forward. But last night, it's the NBA's best team. You make a barometer against the best team, and you can tell that Minnesota's fans were in it. They got back in it, but the Warriors know how to win. And real quickly, a lead or a tie game can go from that to the Warriors being up 10 points because they hit the three so well and they're so efficient with it. Luke Walton is looking like a complete genius. Final game on the schedule last night before we go to break. The Phoenix Suns beat the LA Clippers 118-104. Now, this game really wasn't much of a match. 1, Chris Paul was out. 2, JJ Redick was out. And 3, Blake Griffin gets ejected in the second quarter of a 1-point game, arguing a foul call, a non-foul call. Brandon Knight, can't take away from him. 37 points, 14 of 22. Also 6 of 10 from the 3-point line. Brandon Knight played his best offensive game I have seen him play. He was so efficient on both sides of the floor. Eric Bledsoe, 26, 10, and 9, 1 assist away from a triple-double. He filled stat sheets more, played good defense. And now, on social media, you see a lot of people saying about Doc Rivers' job. Calm down. It's 2 losses in a row. We know. They lost to Houston on Friday. They lost, the back-to-back in the DeAndre Jordan Bowl, and then last night to the Suns. But let's think about it. Chris Paul wasn't healthy. JJ Redick is still having issues with the back and the spasms. And last night's backcourt, you're looking at Austin Rivers and Pablo Prigioni. Yeah, both those guys should be brought to pasture very quickly. And you got to think, Blake Griffin was ejected in the second quarter. So Clipper fans, be easy a little bit. It's 3 in a row. We understand. But the Clippers bounce back into action on Saturday. So you got to think, when you have guys who are out, especially 3 of your major weapons not in the game, and you expect to beat the Suns, the NBA is solid teams, from top to bottom. I talk about how bad Brooklyn or the Sixers are, but these are NBA caliber players. And if you have decent to solid teams going against teams that are shorthanded and wounded, these solid teams should win those games. So you got to give Phoenix a lot of credit because they got nothing from Morris last night. T.J. Warren dropped to 18 points last night in the game. They got 18 from Crawford for the Clippers. But really, it was lapses on defense everywhere. And with Knight and Bledsoe scoring 73 points last night, if those two will scoring 73 and you don't have all your weapons, the Suns are a hard team to beat. So, all those games in the books last night, I know, 3 quick games, short night, but we have 11 on the schedule for Friday. And also, we got some games over the weekend. We're going to get to those, pay some bills, talk some fancy hoops, and also talk to you. 407-378-3717. This is the morning tip-off on Spreaker. We're right back in a few minutes. Let's pay some bills.
Are you looking for a fun experience on the water with your family? Bring them to the Orlando Water Sports Complex, located off Highway 528 near OIA. The Orlando Water Sports Complex provides an experience you won't soon forget, featuring cable wakeboarding, as well as the Super Air Nautique G23, the world's best wakeboarding and wake surfing boat for guests to enjoy. For more info, visit actionparks.com. That's AKTIONPARKS.com. And tell them Full Court Press sent you.
Listeners, now I know you've heard of this up-and-coming brand Hoop Culture, which is headquartered right here in Orlando, Florida. But here's something that you didn't know. They are opening a flagship store in Fashion Square Mall, downstairs right in front of the movie theater. That's right, the brand that has brought you the iconic Eat Sleep Ball design is bringing their streetwear brand to retail. Stay ahead of the fashion trends. Go visit them online at hoopculture.com or follow them at Hoop Culture. Our listeners save 30% off your next order. Use the code RADIO at checkout.
Looking to expand your reach and following in all platforms of media?